Thank you, Presiding Officer, and can I also add my best wishes to the First Minister at this incredibly difficult time for him and anyone caught up in this conflict. Today, I want to take from this chamber the word unity, because despite the divisions and the polarisation around these debates, we have seen unity in grief for those who have lost their lives, unity in hope for those still being held hostage to be released safely, and unity in solidarity with the innocent civilians both in Israel and in Gaza who are suffering unimaginably at this time. The world rightly condemned the abhorrent Hamas attacks on the 7th of October, but the international community must also be equally unambiguous and unequivocal in its commitment to international law and a rejection of a collective punishment of the people of Palestine. Can I ask the First Minister, how is he and his government engaging with the international community to achieve that ceasefire, a humanitarian aid and a humanitarian corridor, and that very needed, negotiated, lasting peace for the region?
First Minister.
I thank Claire Adamson for her words. I agree wholeheartedly with her sentiment that we've had many debates in this chamber around the issue of Israel and Palestine. They've often been heated. They've often exposed differences that we have on the geopolitical situation. But notwithstanding that, and those differences are undoubtedly legitimate to express, we must be able to unite on the common humanity of the situation. And I tried to hopefully bring some of that through in my statement. There is more in this situation that we can agree on than we disagree on. As long as we keep rooting our response in empathy and compassion, and indeed the requirement to adhere to international law, then I think there's a lot more that will unite us than will divide us. And I go back to the point I made to Douglas Ross. I would hope every single member would feel an incumbent duty on them to reach out to the communities, all of those who are feeling vulnerable, particularly I think our Jewish and our Muslim communities, to give them reassurance that hate crime will not be tolerated. Of course, it's for the UK Government, who has reserved remit and responsibility of foreign affairs to take forward the issues around peace, around two-state solution. And I reiterated some of the points that I've made in the statement today to the Prime Minister and previously to the Foreign Secretary, James Cleverly. Where we can add value, I believe we can be a voice. I think it's an important voice. I think people want to hear what the Scottish Parliament has to say, as well as the Scottish Government has to say, and there'll no doubt be a lot of interest in this. There'll be a number of our constituents who feel helpless at the situation and want to be able to help, and I would urge them to consider donating to the Flash Appeal, UN Flash Appeal, for humanitarian aid, as the Scottish Government has done. So we'll continue to provide a humanitarian response where we can. We'll continue to be an important voice to urge peace, to urge for a ceasefire, to urge for a humanitarian corridor, to urge hostages to be released. And I will continue to do that on behalf of the Scottish Government. I'm certain we'll be able to do that together as a Scottish Parliament.